recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got...
I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the U.S. to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply ghost. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins. Feel the motion, warriors of change. Pushing through every notion. No chains can hold us, we break through like oceans. Educate, elevate, that's our devotion.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the U.S. to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply ghost. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. Still pushing through the struggle, can't keep us down. Voices loud from the underground to every town. Shades of excellence, ain't no hiding, won't back down. From the roots to the U.S. in the city's crown. Stay shining bright despite the hate they lay. Our culture's fire burns strong night and day. Black forever, the spirit won't decay. Raise the banner high, cause we here to stay. Sally, stay shine, go in a level I dodge, so I cry, Sally. Angel, you command, your thoughts are demands, and it's turn on Sally. I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the U.S. to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply ghost. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins. Feel the motion, warriors of change. Pushing through every notion.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black.
All right, I forgot I was muted, okay? Because I'm black and I'm back. Pay attention. All right, so hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your second dose of your daily vitamins. So let's get ready to get into it. Okay, everyone, please come in, give the video a like and a share. Remember, it doesn't cost you a thing. Okay, let's get those likes up. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. With that all being said, let's see who's in here. Buckhorse DC, TC Dan, Lillian X, All Hell Nah is in the house. Trisha, Juju B said the queen is queening. Thank you. Okay, Queen Anaya is here. Tekoa Israel, 504 Nola. All right, so let's get into it. I see you, Lot Wizard. Lot Queen Candy Day is in the house. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Okay, so let's talk about it. First of all, they came out reporting that Putin endorsed Kabami. And I said, say what now? I said, Putin has to be trolling us because I know better. Okay. I said, I know better. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I know Putin has not lost his mind. He knows Trump is not trying to hear it. So I said, this has got to be a joke. Okay, so I'm going to go. Okay. Oh, you know what? Lock Queen Candy J said, say what now? Exactly. Hey, real talk. Okay, but before we get into that, let's talk about Rich Homie Quan. Now, I just did a TikTok about his death. Condolences to his family, friends, and loved ones, and also condolences to Young Thug. Can you imagine? Young Thug is sitting in prison dealing with this whole YSL trial, and then this happens. Now, they're not giving a lot of details. Now, some people are speculating that it had something to do with a drug overdose or whatever. I don't know. All TMZ reported is that he passed away today, okay, at his home. His family and the county coroner has confirmed it. And he was only 34 years old. Now, for those of you who don't know about him, he's an Atlanta rapper, a platinum selling rapper, mind you, and he burst onto the scene in 2013 with the song Type Away, followed by a couple of fan favorites, Ride Out and Flex OOO. Also, he had collabed several times with Jaquez and 2 Chainz. So it's very shocking to hear that he has passed away at such a young age. I don't know exactly what happened. Like I said, they're not giving a whole lot of details. Let me just look real quick to see if any more information has come out since I did my TikTok a couple of hours ago. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on, I'm sending something to my email. Okay, let's see here. If they have any more details, because TMZ reported this about 2 hours ago. His family said they were shattered, and I can imagine, because from what they say, this was suddenly. Okay, so Rich Homie Quan has died, according to multiple people online, and he was 34. Fellow rapper Boosie Badass, whose real name is Torrance Ivy Hatch Jr., was one of the first to confirm his death. Okay, they say he also appeared to reveal the suspected cause of death, sharing in a separate X post. Hold on. Shared in a separate X post saying, just got word at Rich Homie Quan just OD'd. Okay, so Boosie said that. Now, he might be one to know, okay, because TMZ didn't say that. They just said he died suddenly. And I don't want to start rumors that may not even be true. But so that's according to Boosie. So he may know. Okay, goes on to say, official cause of death has not been confirmed. Now, podcaster Adam Grand Mason, known as Adam22, took to his Instagram stories today to post a photo of him and Quan writing, post of him and Quan writing over it saying, RIP Rich Homie Quan. TMZ also confirmed Quan's death via the late rapper's family and the Fulton County morgue, with relatives telling the outlet that they are shattered and heartbroken by his sudden death. Now, Page 6 has reached out to reps for Quan, but did not immediately hear back or for the confirmation of his alleged death. The rapper's social media has also not released any official statements. So his last post on Instagram was shared on Monday, and it featured the Type of Way rapper whose real name was DeQuantes Devontae Lamar, okay, wearing a football jersey and a pair of eyeglasses. The slideshow, which also showed him performing on stage, was captioned, "Vision clear, even through the BS." Quan's alleged drug use had gotten him into trouble in the past. In May of 2017, he was charged with felony drug possession with the intent to distribute, but the case was then dismissed in 2019 due to a lack of evidence. Quan was born in Atlanta, was famously known for being a member of Cash Money Records. His 2015 single, Flex OOO, reached 26 in the U.S. Quan's death comes just days after the rap world lost another one of its stars. On August the 30th, Fat Man Scoop died at age 53 after collapsing on stage during a performance. He was given CPR backstage and then rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Scoop's official cause of death has not yet been revealed. So, this is all very sad. Like I said, once again, my condolences to his family, friends, and loved ones. And, he also was affiliated with Young Thug through Cash Money, and they worked on a project together. I believe it was called Rich Gang, if memory serves me correct. Okay, that's a couple of pictures of him they posted.
So, you know, we are losing people left and right, okay? We are losing people left and right. So all very sad. Lot Wizard said rich homie views are about to skyrocket. Michael M said this is all suspicious. Okay, Greta Lee said say no to drugs. It leads to a very bad ending. Absolutely. It really does. But y'all, don't let me forget, because I almost forgot just that quick. Please, guys, do not let me forget to tell y'all about Candace Owens, okay? Candace Owens just did a video. I'm going to play the audio for you. But she said that the Rabbi, I forget his name, how to pronounce it. But anyway, y'all got to hear this, because she said this man flat out lied on her. And apparently he did, because they pulled up the receipts. And so he didn't want them to pull up those receipts, but when they did, he was clearly lying on Candace. See, I just want you all to pay attention, because the very people of the other skin tone that she used to cape for are now turning against her, including lying. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, word came out that Putin had endorsed Kabami. And I said, now I know this can't be true. Whatever would Trump say? But I think he was trolling. Okay, I think he was trolling, because he did the same thing before with Biden. Okay, please pay attention. So this is what they say. Republican nominee Donald Trump played up Russian President Vladimir Putin, jokingly endorsing his Democratic opponents. First of all, let me go to the footage. That's what I'll do first. Let me go to the footage. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Y'all know the Queen's working hard. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, here we go.
Presidential nominee Kamala Harris received a surprise endorsement today.
That's right. Russian President Vladimir Putin telling a crowd at an economic forum that he preferred Harris winning November's election. Keep in mind, though, U.S. intelligence reportedly believes Russia prefers a Trump victory because of his views on Russia's ongoing war against Ukraine. Now, those comments also came shortly after the Biden administration accused Russia of a widespread election interference campaign.
CBS News foreign correspondent Ian Lee joins us with more from our London bureau. So, Ian, if U.S. intelligence says that Putin actually wants Trump to win, why did he endorse Harris?
Oh, Lana, President Putin made these remarks with a smile, I should add, at that economic forum. He knows the world is watching. So first, we do need to remember that Putin is a former intelligence officer for the KGB. He sees the United States as an adversary, and he'll do whatever he can to create chaos in America that benefits him. So any statement should be taken with a grain of salt. The Russian government has been behind election interference, not only in the United States, but here in Europe, as well as around the world. And yesterday, the Justice Department accused 2 Russian nationals who work for a Moscow-controlled news network of funneling millions of dollars to an American media company. That company then paid right-wing influencers for videos that push the Kremlin's narratives. That's according to the allegations. So when it comes to President Putin and who he wants to see in the White House, there seems to be a disconnect between what he says and what he does.
And on that point, Ian, Putin also said he's ready to hold peace talks with Ukraine. You've done extensive reporting and recently from Ukraine. But there's been this onslaught of Russian munitions to Ukraine in the past week or so. Should this be believed? Because it's based on a deal that was reached in Istanbul in 2022, and they didn't agree to the terms then. So what should we make of his comments now?
Yeah, Errol, this is really interesting because all of a sudden we're hearing talks of peace from both Moscow and Kyiv. President Putin said today that China, India, and Brazil could act as potential mediators, albeit I don't think anyone would see Beijing as a fair arbiter. They've been supporting Russia's war effort, but that aborted deal you talked about and he was referencing was discussed in the first weeks of the war while Kyiv was in shock from the invasion. Now, details were never made public, but documents that were shared with the New York Times shed a little bit of light on what Russia wanted, which is Ukraine handing over 4 regions in the east, that is Zaporizhia, Kherson, Luhansk, and Donetsk. There's certain laws in Ukraine that they wanted to appeal, and for Ukraine to forego NATO membership. Kyiv wanted Russia to pull all its forces out of the country, EU membership, and security guarantees that would draw in other countries to defend Ukraine if it was ever attacked. But those peace talks quickly broke down. And when it comes to talks from Kyiv, President Volodymyr Zelensky just reshuffled his cabinet to help what he is calling his victory plan. He's expected to present that to President Biden later this month. Part of that plan involves Ukraine's offensive in Russia's Kursk region, possibly setting up a land swap, but the other details haven't been made public. Errol, Lana?
Can Putin be believed? Ian Lee, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian.
Now, they should know darn well that Putin is not serious, okay? Please make it all make sense. Like I told you, he's done this before. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And here's the thing. President Zelensky needs to sit down somewhere because what he needs to do is give us a refund on all those billions that Biden sent him. Okay, this is exactly why we don't need Kabami in office. Can you imagine how much money she'd be sending over to Ukraine? I'm sorry, I absolutely believe that she would. Okay, because it's going to be more of the same of everything we've gotten with Biden. Please pay attention. Okay, so goes on to say, Republican nominee Donald Trump played up Russian Vladimir Putin jokingly endorsing his Democratic opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, during a campaign stop on Thursday. He says, I don't know if I'm insulted or he did me a favor. That's what Trump said while outlining economic proposals to a group of New York City and Wall Street officials. 4 years ago, Putin said he preferred Democratic nominee Joe Biden over Trump, something he noted when he discussed Harris during an economic conference this week in Vladivostok, saying, we will support her. This is what Putin said ahead of the 2024 United States elections, according to published reports, adding that she laughs so expressively and so infectiously that it means that everything is fine with her. Y'all know he's joking and trolling. Now, the endorsement, real or not, just came hours after the Justice Department charged 2 Russian citizens with directing a $10 million campaign to influence the 2024 election through online platforms that promote Trump's candidacy. Putin thinks he's slick. It's all I'm saying. Now, Trump was investigated over Russian election interference in 2016. Alleged without evidence after the charges were announced that the Biden administration is again trying to tie him to those efforts. And in a Truth Social post, Trump said it was Harris and the Justice Department that are trying to interfere and suppress the election in favor of the Democrats by resurrecting the Russia hoax. Okay, that's what he said. Now, if memory serves me correct, now you guys correct me if I'm wrong. You guys correct me if I am wrong. But did the other day, when I reported on Mark Zuckerberg saying that Biden's administration had pressured him to censor people specifically as it pertained to the election of 2020, didn't he say something about Russian information? Didn't he say something about Russian disinformation? I could have sworn once in the chat, if you guys remember me saying something about that, when I discussed Mark Zuckerberg. Takoa says yes. Okay, I could have sworn. Stacey says yes. Okay, so I'm sorry. Was Russia really interfering in the election, or was that just a convenient talking point for them to say to try to make it all make sense? Okay, I have questions, is all I'm saying. I have questions, and I told you all that I believe, in my opinion, that the fix is already in. But let me continue, because I'm not one to paint narratives. Very often, shall I say. Now, with that all being said, Trump also brought up Putin during a question and answer session that followed his Thursday economic speech to the Economic Club of New York. Minutes before Trump questioned the continuing value of sanctions against Russia and other rival nations. In Russia's case, over its invasion of Ukraine. Now, he said sanctions need to be used very judiciously because they can undercut the U.S. dollar. He added that he would try to negotiate a settlement between Russia and Ukraine. Okay, because you all know the United States absolutely does not. They absolutely do not like Putin. Hold on for a second. Let me see if I can pull that up with Trump talking about the economics. I want to hear what he has to say. Wait a second. Hold on. I know I didn't just read what I thought I read. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, this is something else. I was about to go in. Okay, anyway, let me find that real quick. Here we go. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go. Now let's hear what Trump has to say about the economy. All right, I want to hear this. Put my overlay on here so I don't have any problems with the screw tube.
And as you alluded, thanks to the President for all details on your economic policy. And as you alluded to, tariffs are the other side of sanctions. And given that China is our major trading partner with our largest imbalance, and possibly our chief national security threat to the United States, how can we better institutionalize trade policy and national security policy to be coordinated?
So I had a great relationship with President Xi of China, really very close relationship. Now, she likes China, I like us, so I don't want to sound foolish. He's my dear, dear friend. He's a tough guy. He's a fierce person. I say very smart. You know, when you say he's smart, fake news goes crazy. He said, President Xi is smart. And I say, you know, he controls 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. He's smart. But we had a very good relationship with China until COVID. And when that came in, it was a whole different ballgame as far as I was concerned. You know, we made a great China trade deal, maybe better than the USMCA. And I'd never talk about it because what happened with COVID for the whole world, $60 trillion in, you know, deaths, 70 million, 60, nobody even knows how many deaths. And it all came out of Wuhan. So it changed my relationship. But I think I'll have a great relationship with China. I had one before. And they respected us, but they respected us because they no longer thought we were fools. They used to think we were fools.
Did they think we were fools, Trump, or that you're a fool? I have questions. But I want you all to pay attention to how Trump just slid in a little dig, just threw a little shade real quick. He said, and it came straight. He mentioned the number of people that died. And then he said, and it came straight out of Wuhan. Did y'all catch that? Did you all catch that? He said it came straight out of Wuhan. Andrea says he loves dictators, I see. Yeah, he does, because he wants to be one. Okay, he wants to be one. Okay, we already know, but let's continue.
Because we built China, they would take over $500 billion a year and use it for their military and other things. And we got nothing out of that. We got some cheap product. You can buy 19 pencils instead of 2. Who the hell cares? You can buy $16 for your daughter instead of 2 nice dolls. And we got very little out of that relationship. They got a tremendous military power, and they still have it today. So, but I believe we will have a very good relationship with China and with a lot of other countries that we're not getting along with too well today. And things are going to straighten out. We're going to get them straightened out very quickly. Very important that we get along with the rest of the world. You know, we have things today called nuclear weapons. I rebuilt our whole military, including our nuclear capability. And so I got very familiar with it. And, you know, I say this often because I had an uncle who was the longest serving, I believe the longest serving, I was told that by MIT. But he was there 39, I guess, or 41 years, longest serving professor in the history of MIT. And nuclear was something he knew a lot about. And we used to talk about it, and I'd say, Uncle John, there's no way. He was telling me about this incredible power that was being unleashed potentially. And I say, Uncle John, you could never get, you know what? He was very modest, because I've seen the destructive capability, and this world is going to have to get along because if that's ever unleashed, we already have too many countries that have at least remnants of it, some of it. But probably 5 countries, if you think. And Kim Jong-un, when I went to the White House after winning in 2016, I sat with President Obama, which is a ritual. And you sit and you talk. And I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea is the biggest problem. I don't think it's solvable. I said, have you tried calling him or talking to him? Actually, the answer was yes. He wasn't responded to. But I did, and we were very safe. It started off a little rocky, if you remember. Little Rocket Man, I called him. And called me things too.
Okay, I just want you all to listen to the continuous shade that Trump is throwing and then pay attention, because he specifically said, did y'all catch that? He said in 2016 when he won, Sheppy Head says, pull the plug. Okay, did y'all notice that he said when he went and sat with Obama in 2016 after he won the presidency, and he said it's a ritual? Did y'all catch that? I just want y'all to pay attention. He said it's a ritual. Very interesting.
He's got a red button on his desk. I said, I have a bigger red button, and my red button works. And then it started getting a little nicer, and then one day I got a call that they'd like to meet. And it was a great thing. We had a great meeting. We had 2 meetings, actually, 2 great meetings, summits. And we had no problem with them. Now they have a problem because they're not liking this administration. They don't respect this administration at all. So we have to get along. We have to get along. We can't have World War III. You're going to end up in World War III. Just like you should have never had Russia go in. It would have never happened if a competent person led us. It would have never happened. He led them into it. And I'm not blaming Biden.
Okay, please pay attention. He said, I'm not blaming Biden, but he literally just said right before that that we should have had a competent leader and that he led them into it. And so he is. Oh, hell no, said he's the shadiest president ever. He is. I get an absolute hoot out of him. Please pay attention.
You know what? What he was saying was exactly the wrong thing. I said, we're going to have an invasion because of a lot of the rhetoric was stupid rhetoric, but it would have never happened. Not only for that reason, oil was down low. You know, oil was almost $100 a barrel. So Putin is one of the only people. I mean, nothing's easy in life, but Putin at $100 a barrel, war works. At $40 a barrel, that didn't work at all. So we're going to get back to a intelligently run place, a place where other countries aren't using the word nuclear. That word was never talked about during because I knew the power of it. And I talked to Putin about it. I talked to President Xi about it. I think we were going to do, you remember the talk where we were going to reduce nuclear capability substantially. All 3 of us, we going to reduce very substantially. And then we had the election, and after the election, they didn't talk about that or anything else, frankly. But we have to be very, very careful because the destructive capability of nuclear, when people talk about global warming, I say the ocean is going to go down 1/100th of an inch within the next 400 years. That's not our problem. Our problem is nuclear warming, and we better be smart, and we better have smart people at the top that know how to deal, because these people don't know how to deal. Putin came out today, he endorsed Kamala, and I didn't know, was I supposed to call him up and say, thank you very much, I appreciate it. But he endorsed Kamala. I have a feeling, I don't know. I don't know exactly what to say about that. I don't know if I'm insulted or he did me a favor. But we have to get along with the world. We can't have war because the destructive capability, you can be the head of the biggest bank, wherever the hell Jamie is sitting. You can be the head of the biggest bank in the world. A couple of nukes in your bank doesn't mean a thing. You gotta get along because this is such an important job. It's a dangerous job too. Very dangerous job. If you look at statistically, being president is very dangerous. That throbbing feeling I have. Oh, that throbbing feeling. No, it's a very dangerous job, and you have to do it right. And if you don't do it right, Bad things will happen to the world, things like you've never seen before. Okay, thank you very much.
I mean, it's the shade of it all for me. Support the Arts says, let's just elect Kabami already. Support the Arts, please sit down somewhere. Okay? Please sit down somewhere. Support the Arts cannot go a single broadcast when the Queen's talking politics without throwing Kabami's name. At this point, it's hilarious. Okay? Support the Arts really wants Kabami to win. So could you all please bow our heads for a moment of silence? Because clearly Support the Arts has lost their mind. Everybody, please bow your head for a moment of silence in honor in favor of Support the Arts. Support the Arts, you know we're not having it, okay? We're not having any of it. All right, beloved? Now, with that all being said, this is all nefarious. Y'all know Putin's not thinking about Harris, okay? But so let's talk about the Yahuru, the African Socialist Party, because you all remember I reported on what happened to them when they were raided with drones and all of that, an 81-year-old man. Okay, this is all crazy. So let's talk about it. Because their trial has started. Trial begins for the 4 accused of helping Russia sow political division in the U.S. I don't believe a word of it. I think these people are absolutely innocent. Okay, and I stand on that. These people are revolutionaries, and we all know the revolutionaries who are really for their people are always being attacked, put on terrorist watch lists, threatened with being thrown into prison, and even worse in some cases, turned up mysteriously deceased. I just want y'all to pay attention, okay? I just want y'all to pay attention, all right? Shout out to them, all right? And this party has been in existence for 40 plus years, if memory serves me correct. All right, so let's talk about it because you all know I reported on it. You heard it here first, all right, when they first got raided. So now the trial has begun. And here's what they have to say. Okay, the trial began in Florida on Tuesday for 4 activists accused of illegally acting as Russian agents to help the Kremlin sow political discord and interfere in U.S. elections. Now, all four were affiliated. They either are or were affiliated with the African People's Socialist Party and the Yahuru movement, which has locations in St. Petersburg, Florida, and St. Louis. Now, among those charged is Ahmadiyyah, the 82-year-old chairman of the U.S.-based organization focused on Black empowerment and the effort to obtain reparations for slavery and what it considers the past genocide of Africans. That's what I'm talking about. I need to join this party, okay? Please pay attention. Now, in an opening argument, Yashitla, his attorney, Odd Griffin, said the group shared many goals of a Russian organization called the Anti-Globalization Movement of Russia, but wasn't acting under control of that nation's government. Saying, ladies and gentlemen, that simply isn't true. This is what Griffin told a racially mixed jury. It says, this is a case about censorship. What did I tell you all? And see, I want y'all to pay attention because you know you heard it here first. I told you all before they were even raided. I told you all once in the chat, if you remember me telling you guys that if we continue to say things that go against the grain, those of us who are bold enough to do so unapologetically, as myself has done, I said, if we continue to speak about things they don't want us to speak about, uncovering things that are hidden under rocks, things that have been swept under the rug, they will start to put us on terrorist watch lists. They'll start to do all sorts of things to censor us. Didn't I tell you all that? And then bam, they raided these people. Okay, they raided these people and accused them of conspiring with Russia against the United States, trying to deem them as terrorists. Okay, Dorana says you did, Queen. Okay, everybody's putting ones because you all know that I said it. But let's continue because this is all nefarious. I knew it was coming. And this is who we want in office, Kabami, because this was her and Biden. Okay, this is the doings of her and Biden with the censorship. And Mark Zuckerberg, as I told you, has said it himself. Now, with that all being said, he says this is a case about censorship. Yashitla and two others face charges of conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and failing to register with the Justice Department as agents of a foreign government. The fourth defendant, who later founded a separate group in Atlanta called Black Hammer, faces only the conspiracy charge. They have all pleaded not guilty. 3 Russians, 2 of whom prosecutors say are Russian intelligence agents, are also charged in the case, but have not been arrested. Okay, now, although there are some echoes of claims that Russia meddled in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, U.S. District Judge William Jung said those issues are not part of this case, saying this trial will not address Russian interferences in the 2016 U.S. presidential elections. Okay, said that order. That's what he said in the order that was dated Monday. Now, in his opening statement, Justice Department Attorney Mino Goldman said the group's members acted under Russian direction to stage protests in 2016, claiming Black people have been the victims of genocide in the U.S. Yes, and we have. I want you all to pay attention and ask yourselves, why are these people being censored when they're asking for reparations, demanding reparations for the descendants of slaves in this country, and talking about genocide that has been perpetuated upon us, which is absolutely true. Where's the lie? Okay. And they took other actions for the following 6 years that would benefit Russia, including opposition to U.S. policy in the Ukraine war. So people can't speak out against the war in Ukraine, or people don't have the right to not be down for Ukraine. I just want you all to pay attention. Now, this is about dividing Americans, dividing communities, turning neighbor against neighbor. This is what Goldman told the jurors. The defendants acted at the direction of the Russian government to sow division right here in the U.S. Did they? Or is that what y'all are just saying to paint a picture and a narrative, okay, to bring these people down because they were doing the work? Now, with that being said, he goes on to say that included support for a St. Petersburg City Council candidate in 2019, who the Russians claim to have supervised, according to the criminal indictment. Now, the candidate lost that race and has not been charged in the case. So, in other words, they didn't have anything to prove it, apparently. Now, much of the alleged cooperation involved support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So you can't support Russia in this country? That's what you can't do? I just want y'all to pay attention. But remember, they recruited people who look like me to go over there and help Ukrainians fight. And some of them foolishly went, knowing that there are packs and droves of wanton supremacists in Ukraine. Remember how they did the African people over there? Okay, they wouldn't let them cross over the border in support Poland. So anyway, goes on to say that in March of 2022, Yashitla held a news conference in which he said the African People's Socialist Party calls for unity with Russia in its defensive war in Ukraine against the world colonial powers. He also called for the independence of the Russian-occupied Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. If that's his opinion, that's how he feels. What's the problem? Now, the defense attorneys, however, said despite their connections to the Russian organization, the actions taken by the African People's Socialist Party and the Yahuru movement were aligned precisely with what they have advocated for more than 50 years. Yashitla founded the organization in 1972 as a Black Power empowerment group opposed to vestiges of colonialism around the world. So these are Black people who are militant-minded revolutionaries who are not just sitting there taking it all lying down. They're speaking up, they're stepping out, and they're doing the work. So they're a problem for the United States. Remember what J. Edgar Hoover said himself. The biggest threat to the United States is Negro unity. Not a nuclear bomb, but Negro unity. Okay, so if you're someone who's out here promoting for people to unite, people who look like me, then you're a problem as far as the United States is concerned. Now let's continue. Goes on to say they shared some common beliefs, according to attorney Leonard Goodman, who represents defendant Penny Hess. This makes them threatening. Okay, just like I said. Now, Yashitla, Hess, and fellow defendant Jesse Neville faced up to 15 years in prison if convicted of the conspiracy and foreign agent registration charge. The fourth defendant, Augustus Romaine, could get a maximum of 5 years if convicted of the registration count. The trial is expected to last for up to 4 weeks. This is all so darn nefarious at the end of the day. Now, with that being said, Desmond says, Queen Hunter Biden has been found guilty on federal tax charges. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you giving me that information and your contribution to the channel. Thank you so much. But here's the thing. I was going to talk about him anyway because John Yoo, I believe that's his name. Let me find it real quick. He predicted that Biden, I have it right here because I was going to talk about it. he predicted that Hunter Biden's going to get 3 years. Hold on. Where's that receipt at? Hold on, beloveds. Oh, here it is. Yeah, John Yoo, that's him. He predicted that Hunter's going to get 3 years. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, I want you all to hear what Yashikla had to say about when they targeted him, when they raided his property, well, how they did him and his wife. Okay, remember, this is an 82-year-old elder. At the time all of this happened, he was like 80 or 81. Okay. Andrea says, people were over there fighting, trying to help them. However, they were being called monkeys and ninjas. I would have came home immediately. I mean, I wouldn't even have gone because they were saying that before they went. That's why I thought they were so crazy and nonsensical. Like, why would you go over there? There's a bunch of wanted supremacists who don't even like people who look like me. Okay. And as I said, they wouldn't even let those Africans over there pass over to Poland. Yes, it was an early morning raid, Sheppy had. Okay, so I'm going to go to this video. I'm going to play the audio and cover it up because I don't want these problems with ScrewTube. But this is an interview that they did with Democracy Now! In 2022, right after the raids happened. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, here we go. And let me add some music too, just a little bit. Can never be too careful with ScrewTube, especially when you're talking about Uhuru, the African Socialist Party. Hold on.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. As we turn to look at the FBI raiding several properties in late July in St. Louis, Missouri, and St. Petersburg, Florida, tied to the African People's Socialist Party, which leads the Uhuru movement. The Pan-Africanist group has been a longtime advocate for reparations for slavery, a vocal critic of U.S. foreign policy. The raids came as the Justice Department indicted a Russian man living overseas named Alexander Yanov, using U.S.-based groups to spread Russian propaganda. The groups were not named in the indictment, but reportedly include the African People's Socialist Party. One of the FBI raids targeted the home of Ahmadiyyah, the founder of the African People's Socialist Party. He accused the FBI of targeting his group for their political work. He's joining us now from St. Louis. Amali, welcome back to Democracy Now! We actually spoke to you first in about a quarter of a century ago in 1996 when Democracy Now! Just began. Can you, though, go back to the end of July and talk about what happened? Talk about that day of the raid. Where were you?
My wife and I were awake. We were sitting at the dining room table discussing how we're going to be moving for the day. She is responsible has organized a doula program to train African women, young women, in becoming doulas. And this is in a city where in the first year of life, enough Black babies die to fill 15 kindergarten classes every year. So we were talking about that, and I actually was preparing to go to the gym. And then we heard this loud racket outside, this noise from loudspeakers demanding that the residents of this property should come out with our hands up and nothing in our hands. And as this was being said, loud flashbang grenades were exploding all around the house. And I was later to learn in the back stairwell of the house. So I asked her to allow me to leave first and to get on the phone to call people to let them know that we were being raided. And she tried, but was unable to do it because they had jammed our phones. So I went down the stairwell, and when I got to the bottom of the stairwell, these laser dots from automatic weapons were bouncing off my chest, and I heard these commands to move toward them, toward the light. There was a large armored vehicle in front of my house. There were camouflage-clad troopers, FBI agents, and I don't know who else, with flak jackets and automatic weapons. My wife followed me down, and on her way down, a drone went past her head going up the stairwell into the house. So I went outside and was zip tied at the sides of the house. There were, I don't know how many FBI agents there were, but there were a lot of them and a lot of different vehicles. And my wife came downstairs. She was handcuffed behind her back. And I'm asking them why, what's going on. They said that they had a search warrant for my house, and I asked them to see the search warrant. And they conveniently didn't have it on them, but it was somewhere in the vicinity and they'd get it. We were told to sit on the curb, which we didn't comply with. And they said, well, you can sit in the backseat of the car. And we saying, I don't want to sit anywhere. I want to leave. That I don't even want you here. Don't want to be here with you. They said, again, why are you here? Why are you attacking this house? They took my cell phone. They said that they were there because later that morning, there was going to be an indictment out of Tampa, Florida, against a Russian national. And should he ever come to the United States, he would be arrested. That somehow my name was involved in this indictment. So that was the basis they gave for the arrest. I didn't know it at the time, but across town, and one of our offices was being attacked. This was an office of the African People's Solidarity Committee. And they used battering rams to go into that house, into that center. And upstairs, there were two residents. These were white people who were also handcuffed at gunpoint. They had already knocked out the windows in the house, in my house. They had knocked some doors loose from the hinges. They had come through the back stairwell. As I mentioned, they used flashbang grenades in the rear of my house, plaster all over everything. And in St. Petersburg, Florida, 27 days after they had done what appears to us now to have been a test run on July 2nd, with someone pulling into the parking lot in broad daylight, and from his car trunk, pulling a military-grade flamethrower to torch the 15 by 25-foot red, black, and green flag that was on this 50-foot flagpole. And this had occurred. FBI, Homeland Security, local police came out. They refused to charge the guy with anything except some kind of misdemeanor mischief. They refused to characterize it as arson. And so it's upon trying to understand that initially, clearly suggested to us that it was not just some casual guy who just happened to have a flamethrower in his trunk, who didn't like us, who did this, but that the state was somehow involved. And then 27 days later, as I mentioned, they would attack that same building, the same building, by the way, that you referenced, where we came under attack in 1996 with 300 local, county, state, and federal forces. So it's the same building, and this time they didn't say anything about Russians or indictments. In fact, nobody was arrested. They used all the tear gas at that time that they had in the city of St. Petersburg against us. So clearly, we've been targeted. They stole cell phones, they stole laptops, they stole iPads, they stole something like 40 years of archives that we have in that building in St. Petersburg, Florida, of the history of our movement, of our party, and the struggle there in St. Petersburg. And they also they went to the residence of Akilia Nai, who's a young woman who oversees most of our communications work. And they told her a lie that someone was breaking into her car to draw her outside of the house. And then at that time, they forced their way into her car as she opened it to check the car. They stole her cell phone, and she is one of those persons who's also a so-called unindicted co-conspirator, along with me, Penny Hess, Jesse Neville, so we're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Well, Molly, this is an astounding story. I mean, here for those of us who are familiar with the radical movement in Black and brown communities in the United States, the African People's Socialist Party has been in existence for more than 40 years. It's part of, it arose out of the Black community and is one of the few organizations that has consistently maintained an anti-capitalist, a socialist, an internationalist perspective. And now suddenly you're being accused of being pawns of the Russian government. What sense can you make of this attack?
I think that what we're experiencing, and by the way, this is May was 50 years of existence for the African People's Socialist Party, but you're right. I was a SNCC organizer, we came out of the whole civil rights movement. And I think that we're dealing with the fact that the United States is facing an existential crisis of sorts. The whole social system is, where it was this uncontested hegemon for the longest period of time. It is now being perceived by much of the world, and I think rightly so, as a force that's losing its grip on the world. And, having suffered military defeat in Afghanistan, having suffered humiliation in Saudi Arabia, that the country that Biden had said he was going to turn into some kind of pariah, and then having to find himself slithering over, I should say, fist bumping the prince. I just think it's an existential crisis, and the African People's Socialist Party, I want to invite you and all of your listeners to come and see the work that we're doing in St. Louis. We've transformed an entire, most oppressed African community. When they came to get us at our house, they came to Redbud, 44 Bud, as it's referred to. It's the most depressed, economically depressed, politically neglected place in St. Louis. And we've transformed much of that. Our party has done, in pulling the people into actual active.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. But this is all just a whole load of BS. Okay, clearly, here's the thing. The government has nothing. I want you to pay attention. This is all just intimidation tactics as far as I'm concerned. Okay, where's the freedom of speech? These people did not make threats. They didn't terrorize anyone. They simply expressed their political views and opinions. Okay, and so this country has no longer freedom of speech. And this happened under Biden's administration, just so you know. And there's going to be more of that if Kabami gets in office. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, Weezy Odom says the government, as we say, has nothing. And everything that they are accusing the Yahuru 3 of is pure political speech. And this is, again, just an attempt to rewrite history. That includes decades of organizing and struggling for democratic rights in this country, such as the right to vote, the right to freedom of speech, the right to freedom of the press, freedom of association, freedom of assembly. Everything. I want you all to pay attention, because this is a direct attack on Black people. Okay, this is a direct attack on Black people, that you can't speak the truth, your own truth. You can't voice your opinion. You can't say anything that goes against the status quo, because these are the type of things that they do. And I told you all this was coming, because America hasn't changed. They've just changed the way they name things that they do. For example, slavery is no longer called slavery. It's called human trafficking. It's called the prison industrial complex. Okay, that's what it is. It's called the school to prison pipeline. That's what it is. Nothing has changed in America. They still use Jim Crow tactics and laws. They just don't put signs on the doors and shops anymore of the businesses that say whites only, or only hiring whites. But what they do say is you can't work here if you have locks, afros, twists, braids. That's what they say. And so they had to come out with the Crown Act. But does the Crown Act really protect us? Why should they have to come out with the Crown Act in the first place? For Black people to be able to work somewhere with their hair in its own natural state. Okay, but at the end of the day, does the Crown Act really work? Because the two young men down there in Beaumont, Texas, that went to Barber High School, okay, at the end of the day, they both lost their cases. So I want you all to pay attention. This is all crazy, but this is what they do. Now, they went to the house and intimidated, harassed, and arrested the elders. That man is 82 years old, and they raid his home with drones and order him and his wife to sit on the curb when they've been charged with nothing. They placed them in zip ties. This is what they did, okay? In the early wee hours of the morning before the sun rose. Yeah, it's nefarious at the end of the day. This is spiritual warfare, okay? Everybody better get ready and buckle up, people, because it's only just getting started. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that said, let's talk about Hunter Biden. I can turn this music off now, but let's talk about Hunter Biden because he's pled guilty. But mind you, he pled guilty to 9 counts, but at the same time, he took an Alford plea. For those of you who don't know what an Alford plea is, well, that's basically when you plead guilty to the charges, but you still maintain your innocence. So he's acting like he didn't do anything. Please. Okay. At the end of the day, Hunter Biden pleads guilty in tax case hours after jury selection for trial was to begin. Now, he pleaded guilty to all 9 counts in his criminal tax case in Los Angeles federal court on Thursday afternoon. Biden's sentencing was scheduled for December the 16th. Now, the plea came after prosecutors strongly opposed Biden's surprise offer earlier in the day to a special plea. Now, with that all being said, the plea that Biden ended up making to Scarcy is an open plea or one done without a plea deal with prosecutors, which might have included a reduction in the number of criminal counts that he faced and an agreement on the likely terms of his sentencing. Okay, known as an Alford plea. This is a special plea that he took. Now, Biden, age 54, was charged in the case with 3 felony counts and 6 misdemeanors related to failing to pay at least $1.4 million in federal taxes between 2016 and 2019. He was accused of deducting money that he paid to SEX workers, on his taxes as a business expense and for spending millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his tax bills. This is all according to the indictment. Okay, and speaking of indictment, I want you to pay attention to what Ahmadiyyah said during that interview that I just showed you. I meant to point out to you that he said that one of them is what they call an unindicted co-conspirator. Okay, so please pay attention. All right, please pay attention. And that's what I told you all Cassie might be named as when Diddy goes to trial, because he's definitely going to be indicted pretty soon. Told you all mid to end of September. Please pay attention because you heard it here first. No matter who tries to steal my talking points, it is what it is. Now, Mr. Biden will agree that the elements of each offense have been satisfied. Biden's attorney, Ab Lowell, told Scarcy after returning from a recess following arguments over the proposed Alford plea, saying that Scarcy asked special counsel Leo Wise, the prosecutor, if that was sufficient. Wise said that he would prefer that Biden admit his actions as alleged in the indictment. Well, he's not going to admit it. He'll plead guilty, but stick to his guns and say that he didn't do anything, maintaining his innocence. Now, they say, will Mr. Biden agree that that is the truth? Because the truth matters. This is what the prosecutor says. He should have to say that the facts are true. Lowell then argued that that was not required under the law. He just has to agree to the elements, Lowell says. I know Mr. Wise would like Mr. Biden to say, and in addition, I was a really bad person when I did this, but that's not what the law requires him to do. Now, Scarcy said, so we're going to take an open plea for Mr. Biden, and I will ask if you committed conduct that satisfies elements in the indictment. Now, Wise then began reading the 56-page indictment out loud in court. That reading took almost 90 minutes to complete. Now, in June, Biden was found guilty after a trial in another case where he was accused of crimes related to his purchase of a handgun in 2018 while he was a user and an addict of crack cocaine. Please pay attention. Okay, he was awaiting sentencing in the case, which was tried in the U.S. District Court in Delaware. Now, on Thursday morning in Los Angeles federal court, more than 100 potential jurors assembled for jury selection in Biden's tax case. But Hunter Biden's lawyer, Lowell, surprised prosecutors and others in the court when he told Scarcy there's no reason to proceed with jury selection as Mr. Hunter Biden intends to change his plea. Now, Lowell told Scarcy that there was no agreement with prosecutors about Hunter Biden's planned Alford plea, but the attorney said there is no requirement for such an agreement, saying the law is very clear. If the defendant satisfies Rule 11B, the court is required to accept the plea. Lowell then says, I don't think we would agree under conventional plea circumstances. So with that all being said, he says Hunter Biden, this is what the prosecutor says, Hunter Biden is not innocent, okay? Hunter Biden is guilty. We were as shocked as anyone else that the prosecutor said about the proposal for the Alford plea. And he said the prosecution is not in a position to evaluate that plea offer on Thursday, saying there's no way to rush this at this point, and it shouldn't be rushed. Now, under Department of Justice guidelines, federal prosecutors may not consent to an Alford plea except in the most unusual circumstances and only after the Assistant Attorney General, Tax Division, or a higher departmental official has approved a written request. Now, Lowell told Scarcy that Hunter Biden is not asking for special treatment. Of course he is, but let's continue. That he's not asking for special treatment, noting that people all over the U.S. take Alford pleas. He is asking for the same rights as others. He is willing to say that the government has put forth sufficient evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know why the government wants to punt. Scarcy called another recess after calling the arguments and after hearing the arguments and telling attorneys, I haven't seen a case that tells me I have to accept an Alford plea. But the judge also said, assuming I have the opportunity to reject an Alford plea, why shouldn't I? I need a reason why I accept or reject a plea, Scarcy says. So after that recess, Hunter Biden returned to the courtroom where his attorney said he would enter his open guilty plea, dropping the suggestion of an Alford plea. So he didn't take the Alford plea. He didn't get it. He took the open plea instead. Now, because they pretty much were rejecting it. Okay, so President Biden, as he left the White House earlier Thursday to travel to Wisconsin, ignored shouted questions from reporters about his son's plans to change his original not guilty plea in the case. I bet he did ignore it, okay? He was real closed mouth about that. And, I find it interesting because they try to go in so hard in the paint on Trump for being a whole criminal. But Hunter Biden's a criminal too. And do you all remember during the first debate how mad Joe Biden got when he tried to talk about Trump for being a felon? And then Trump said, your son's a felon. Do you all remember that? Biden was so mad. He was literally livid. Okay? I was so thrilled about it. I was absolutely thrilled about it. Okay, James Allen said Biden didn't know if he was coming or going. Okay, now with that all being said, let's listen to what Candace Owens says, because she says that RFK Jr. went in on her, and she says he did so because of the rabbi. Okay, basically said that he tried to go in on her and then said that the rabbi lied on her and all that. So I'm going to play the audio for you because I thought this was very entertaining when it popped up. She did this on Rumble. Okay, so likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to put an overlay on the screen. Let me make sure I have this queued.
Is pedocentric, completely made up. Obviously, Shmuley went ahead and tried to sell that to the public as well.
Hold on, beloveds. Let me cue this real quick.
These same tactics against more and more people, they're going to be asking themselves, oh, okay, is this what Candace was talking about?
I forgot my timestamp. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to get to that part where the rabbi was literally sitting up there lying. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Now, you all won't be able to see it. You'll hear it. But at one point, they're going to roll the clip when the rabbi said that Candace was saying certain things and about Hitler, I believe it was. Hold on, beloveds. I'm almost there. And while I'm doing this, let's have a word from my sponsors.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so you can purchase your 12 Tribes at Etsy.com, go to Lisa Crafts, and also at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it. I found my timestamps. Here we go. Let me put an overlay up here real quick.
We are speaking about tribalism and fanaticism that has gone so extreme that the instinct is to scream and yell and smear and libel the individual who is bringing the fact to the public. A fact that everyone should agree on. Pedophiles should be tried. People who rape children should be tried. Their instinct is to attack everybody. Clarity.
Hold on, beloveds. I'm trying to skip past that part.
Omission, trying to hide the fact, trying to obscure it. But then that individual is backed by presidential candidates. I'm not kidding, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to RFK Jr.'s response. After watching all of this, his response was that Rabbi Shmuley clearly in this is the victim. Yeah, it's just anti-Semitism. It's out of control, guys. It's coming out of everybody right now. It's unbelievable. It's obviously Jew hatred. Why else would you want a pedophile to come face charges? It could be nothing else other than Jew hatred. It's nonsense. It's an utter nonsense. And so I'm so happy that I was given the opportunity to present to the world what is actually happening in this country, because they're seeing all the lies, they're seeing all the smears, but you can't unsee that back and forth between me and Rabbi Shmuley. And so now when those hit pieces register and they use these same tactics against more and more people, they're going to be asking themselves, oh, okay, is this what Candace was talking about? This is exactly what I got to watch live, the lying and feeling nothing. Children of Satan lie like it wouldn't be that complicated. My buddy did.
Hold on, fast
the
forward.
Information that I was looking for to sort of defeat the fear narrative, where doctors are telling you, you don't know the information, we know it, you're done.
Okay, now here's RFK Jr. talking.
Agree with that, but okay. Do you have concerns about the level of Israeli influence in our politics here in the United States of America?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a politician in political office, so I don't see much of that.
So you don't think so in after 9/11?
Listen, I think everybody has, there's so many malevolent influences on Capitol Hill, and they include many nations, and they include many, corporate entities. So, and I want to have a real democracy in our country where we get the money out of politics and the influence out of politics. That's what I would like, and have publicly funded elections. Oh, I don't think anybody, but do I think the Israelis have more influence than others? David, I believe in supporting Israel, that it's important for the United States. And you and I can disagree on that. I believe our aid to Israel of $4 billion a year is designed to keep the peace over there.
So there you have it. And we're seeing this, by the way, across the board, left and right. And I think the American people are starting to wake up to that there just seems to be this weird thing that nobody in politics will critique Israel at all, no matter what. And it's difficult for us to understand that. Are we a sovereign nation is the question that we are now openly asking, right? What is happening here?
Now, I just want you all to pay attention because Candace was working with these same people that she's now critiquing. But once they fired her, it was all another story. And she tried to get her black card back. Okay, so please pay attention. And the rabbi was acting like he didn't want him to pull them. And then he pulled them. And that's not what she said. And then Candace said, you just sat here and literally told a lie. And now you've been called out on your lie. Okay, so I thought it was all very interesting because you know what? The thing is, they're coming for her. They are coming for Candace now. She cannot run and she cannot hide. They're going to cancel her. They're already calling for her to be banned from social media. And I find that all very interesting. And you see, the thing is, Candace has spent her entire career saying all of these negative, low vibrational things about Black people. Remember how when George Floyd died, she accused Black people of basically, praising our criminals. She said, we're the only nation of people that does that, which is an absolute lie. We don't praise our criminals. At the end of the day, that's what other people do. They build monuments to them, okay, and shrines and all of that. Okay, they put them on dollar bills. Okay, it's all I'm saying. So why would she say, James Allen said her time is up? Exactly. So why would she say that that's what we do? But then when the shite hits the fan, she wants to come running to the same Black people that she talked down on. And then she wants to say that she was encouraged to talk bad about us, that she was encouraged to say these things. Listen, at the end of the day, of course she was encouraged because the white supremacists will always want you to talk against us. They will always like the people who look like her as long as they're talking against the rest of us. But as soon as they do or say one little thing they don't like, then this is what happens. And then she wanted to run to the Breakfast Club. She wanted to run and get on Joe Budden's podcast. And I, for one, thought that Joe Budden and the Breakfast Club were obtuse for allowing her to come on there. Okay, she hadn't been coming on there. Then she wants to come, and then she said, basically in so many words, and I'm paraphrasing, that she was trying to give Black people tough love. Do you all remember that? Do y'all remember that? I find it very interesting. Candace needs to sit down somewhere, is all I'm saying, because she makes no sense. She's very nonsensical. So now she wants to try to get back in our good graces at the end of the day, but she's not to be trusted. Once a snake, always a snake. Okay, and Jay Great says, if she was encouraged, that means she was paid, so she admitted to being a sellout. Exactly. Okay, we already know that's what she was and still is. Okay, because here's the thing. She can sit there and act like she's going in on them or whatever. She's so against them. And, oh, I was just trying to do Black people a favor. But at the end of the day, if they came back to her and gave her an opportunity for recompense and told her, we'll let you come back on, we want you on our side, Candace, and just tell her whatever she wants to hear. What do you think she's going to do? What do you think she's going to do? Okay. Andrea said, so true, Queen. No lies detected at all. Thank you. Mad Dog Jack said, Candace Owens, you left Black, so you can't come back. Stay where you at. Okay. Michael says you reap what you sow. Absolutely. Leon said she needs to have several seats. Absolutely. This is all so crazy and clearly nefarious. All right. With that all been said, TC Dan said, Queen, did you hear that Liz Cheney endorsed Kamala? Yeah, Dick Cheney's daughter. I heard that yesterday. Thank you, beloved. I absolutely heard that. I didn't mention it because to me, Liz Cheney's irrelevant, just like her father. But, I think they're both irrelevant. So I didn't even bother to mention it, but I did read that yesterday. So anyway, with that all being said, honey, I'm about to be up out of here. All right. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Oh, you know what? Let me just tell you all something. Now, this is off topic, but I have to do it. Let's talk about Tamar Braxton for a minute because, I love Tamar, but girl, I'm sorry, say what? Now, that man that she was going with, okay, that man who looks like the Monopoly man, y'all seen the Monopoly, the little Monopoly man? That's who he looks like to me, JR. Well, anyway, supposedly they're on the outs and they say that he's messing around with some young girl about 25 and that he was spending Tamar's money on her. And I just feel like Tamar is just ridiculous at this point because when he first of all was messing around with her arch rival, Tommy, why did she even take him back? Like, this is all crazy. But I want you all to hear what she said in a post. Okay, because I was listening to this last night and I was just like, girl, please, please wake up. Okay. Juju said, I'm at Walmart looking for 12 tribes right now. I think this Walmart is racist. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now let's just entertain ourselves with a little celebrity gossip for just a second.
Married you after you ate somebody whole booty sandwich. Yeah, I'm not trying to make this a big deal. I swear, it's not about y'all. It's $1,000. It's not, make or break. It's the point. The point is that you wanted me to sit back and let you not only use my card. Let's just say it's a mix-up. Okay, fine. But now it's different because you're using my card for your extracurricular activities. And let me just keep it gangster. I wouldn't even trip on that. You know what I'm saying? Wah. It's not that serious. Me and your relationship status has changed. The way I see you have changed. You know what I'm saying? Just like you outside, baby, I'm outside too. Like, let's stop pretending like you is the last of the Mohicans. You are not. You know what I'm saying? It's just not like, oh, I'm addicted to the white meat. Like, it was fine for what I had, but okay. It ain't giving that. And the truth is, I put too much on it because we were married, and I take my vows serious, and I thought that you did too. And so the truth is, I was waiting for you to come around like a wife, because all I know how to be is a wife. I was married to Vince, and that didn't work out. And I got with D, and we were getting married, and I got with you, and we got married, and I married you after you ate somebody, whole booty. So let's not talk about WAP and what happened before then, okay? Don't make it seem like I'm a bad person. Don't make it seem like I didn't put up with a lot. Don't make it seem like, oh, I've been so gracious to her, and, I have been giving grace, and she's a da-da-ba-da-ba-da-ta-da-wah-wah. No, baby, don't do that. We have given grace to each other. And I married you after you ate somebody.
I'm sorry. It's a no for me. It is a no for me. Girl, how are you going to come out publicly and say you married that man? First of all, I didn't know they were married. I must have missed that memo. How you knew that these two were married? One's in the chat. You knew that they were married. So she's going to sit up here and say that she married that man after he ate somebody's whole booty sandwich? Girl, I would not ever have told anyone that, nor would I have married him after such. Okay? And mind you, Trisha said, I'm not dating anyone that I know who ate somebody's booty. This is all sad. She should be embarrassed. I would never have said that. And then she's talking about she's outside. Well, you might be outside, but you're still clearly pressed because she's addressing it. I wouldn't even have addressed this foolishness. Okay? I would have left him high and dry. First of all, it was embarrassing enough, or it should have been, when they broke up the last time, and within a week, mind you, he's at the game with Tommy. And then Tommy comes out and says that he ate the groceries. It's all sad. But I knew it was getting crazy when Tamar tried to go in on Tommy rather than that man. And then she took him back to boot. So this is just not it. Okay? She needs to go have a talk and a visit with Dr. Umar. That's what Tamar needs to do. Tay needs to go sit down somewhere and have a whole full-on discussion with Dr. Umar so he can set her straight and put her on the right street. Okay? Because this ain't it. All hell nonsense. All hell nonsense. Booty remnants is crazy work. It absolutely is. And then to admit it, girl, where have we fallen to? Okay, Claudette says desperate. Trisha said, is booty considered pork? Not mine, because I don't eat pork. Pay attention. Okay, mine is plant-based, honey. Please pay attention. This is all crazy. Anyway, I am about to be out of here. Y'all get the likes up. Please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay. Deronda said, not the right street queen. Yes, that's what she needs. She needs to be steered in the right direction, is all I'm saying. Okay? She needs to be steered in the right direction. All right, because she was clearly out here, as Dr. Umar would say, bunny hopping. Pay attention. Okay, so anyway, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. All right, and I am out like a light. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got